okay? And then we'll go all around, okay?
I'm Emily Atkinson, assistant principal at Watertown High School.
Bernice Shipman, assistant principal, Wilson Central High School.
Angie Coy, assistant principal at Rutland Elementary.
And Leanne Rainey, principal at Mount Juliet High School.
Oh,
I'm Wendy Foster, Stephen
Oh.
Clark's mother.
yeah. And I'm Steve Clark, his father.
Okay?
And then I'm Stephen Clark.
Okay, great. Nice to meet y'all. The proceedings before the SDHA will be electronically recorded. This recording is the official transcript of the hearing. The nature of the hearing is to hear evidence relative to the rules you have violated. The SDHA is not bound by rules of evidence, but will make its recommendations based upon the kinds of evidence that persons would normally use in making a decision. Hearsay evidence may be permitted by the SDHA, and the SDHA will decide what kind of evidence shall not be admitted at the hearing. Okay, so at this time, Miss Rainey, would you please present the school district's evidence in this matter?
I'm just gonna read the discipline record that from the Skyward account. The SRO officers were alerted to students possibly under the influence of alcohol prior to the kickoff of the football game on 8/31. The students were located in the student section of the bleachers where they were located by assistant principals. SRO officers and the county officer issued a field sobriety test. They searched the subject's car, and then they were told they would be issuing a citation on Tuesday for underage drinking. They were released to the student's parents. I believe Mr. Clark was the one that picked up Stephen, around 7:30 on Friday night. On Tuesday morning, Monday was Memorial Day holiday, so we didn't have school. On Tuesday morning, the SRO officers issued citations to the student, and he was given 5 days OSS pending the SDHA hearing today. I will also add that at the end of it, later in the game, I believe it was right after 9 o'clock, Mr. Clark and Stephen returned to the game. They did tell us that they had taken him to the emergency room to have a blood alcohol test done. We could not readmit him to the game because it wasn't the school district that had released him from the game. It was the sheriff's department that had released him to his parents. So they did take him home, and I met with them. I met with Ms. Foster and Stephen on Tuesday morning. They did show me the paperwork that they had been to the hospital that night, and she did not have the papers at the time with the results, but she was able to pull it up on my chart on the phone. And it did show, it said less than 3 milligrams and normal is what I read on the computerized version. So I haven't seen paper versions of the actual type of that. They met with the SRO officers. I was not in the room when she was meeting with the SRO officers, but my understanding is that the SRO officers told me they didn't know whether they could use that in this or not. And I think that all is going to be having to do with the citation. So I'll let her elaborate more on that.
Committee members, do you have any questions for Ms. Rainey at this time?
No.
Okay. Mason, at this time, excuse me, I'm sorry, not Mason, excuse me. Stephen, I apologize. Stephen, at this time, do you have anything you'd like to say in your defense? You can speak on your behalf, okay, and then Mom, Dad, y'all are more than welcome to speak on his behalf. You have about 5 minutes to do so, okay? But Stephen, at this time, let's kind of recap what happened that night, let everybody know. The more you can tell, the better off it is, because that gives these ladies a clear picture of what took place, okay?
Okay, so I left my house. I have a timeline on my phone, but I left my house at about 5:20, and we were going to go to the tailgate, so I picked up Mason, and then we went to the tailgate, and we were only there for like 10-ish minutes. And yeah, so we were just standing around talking with the group of people that got called. And we went in the game, and then I sat in the student section for about 10 or 15 more minutes, and then I got called out, and that's when we went and met with the SROs. And then they did the pen test. So they went and searched my car, and they didn't find anything. And they were smelling bottles, and they said they smelled like Gatorade. So that was, and then.
Your dad picked you up.
Oh yeah, then he picked me up, and then we went to the hospital and got blood drawn. And they, on paper, they told us at the hospital that that's how they measure, is 0 to 0.3. But the nurse that was actually there told us that there was no trace of any alcohol. So we went back to the game and we met with them, and we told them what was going on. So and that's all I can do.
Let me give you guys this, this is actual paperwork from the hospital.
Okay, go ahead and hand it to these three ladies, because they're the ones that can make the decision. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Well, I got a call. I was coming to pick my boy up for the weekend, and he's like, "Dad, I want to go to the ball game. You know, big game of the week." So he goes to the ball game with his friends, and you know, I went down to have a meeting with some guys. I could kill some time, and then I get a call saying, you know, that my boy's been drinking. I'm like, "My boy, you know, mine." So so I proceeded up there, and when I got there, I looked at him. I said, "Son, how you doing?" He said, "I don't know. You know, totally sober. Smelled his breath. No alcohol whatsoever. Did the foot to toe. I mean," and I was like, "Man, you know, what's the gig?" And they're like, "Well, he failed this little thing right here, and you know, this is a very subjective test. Very, I don't know. I mean, I guess you have to Google it to see how inaccurate it is for a field sobriety test. So that's the reason we went to the hospital. You know, I mean, because I know he's not drinking. Doesn't drink. His friend said he doesn't drink. You know, it's not who he is. He's the DD guy. He's that guy. So so I know he didn't do it. You know, I know he doesn't drink. He's the responsible one. He's 3.8 student. He's an athlete. Missed districts. I think they didn't even make districts because he missed the game. They actually missed out on going to, right?
Missed out on going to regionals.
He missed out on going to regionals because he wasn't there to play districts. Scratch golfer kind of guy. You know, he's an athlete. He doesn't do that. So.
I have a question. What time were you picked up from the game?
What time was that? It was about 30 minutes before that test, because it gave us enough time to get there. I don't know if it shows times on that.
Specimen was collected at 8:30.
So I think I probably picked him up around
8.
about 7:30. Got there about 8. You know, we did the waiting thing. You know, so they said he would have had to. He hadn't been drinking in the past 8 or 10 hours or something. You know, not even if it had NyQuil, it would have shown up. You know, but it's no trace at all. It's like 0.0003 on the breathalyzer, I guess. Would be the.
Stephen, who were the group of people you were hanging out with?
It was the Mason, Cora, and Amanda.
Mason, who?
Mason Collins,
And Cora?
Cora, Self.
What's Cora's last name?
Self,
And who else?
Amanda Martin.
Where did you guys get the alcohol from?
We didn't have any alcohol.
So Mason?
Amanda didn't have alcohol.
Mm-mm.
Cora didn't have alcohol. Nobody had alcohol.
I don't know.
And there's something about a silver cup in your affidavit, tell me about that.
Within our circle, I wasn't like I didn't see any I didn't see them drinking. I didn't see, because the only drink that I had, or that Mason had, we had a bottle of water, which they checked my car and they said it smelled like water, and I had the Gatorade and they smelled it in the car and they told me it smelled like Gatorade.
But I just asked you if Mason was drinking, you said no.
No, not on school. I didn't.
Clarify your statement.
So was Mason drinking?
Mason had not been drinking on school property around me. No, man. I had no idea that he was drinking until afterwards.
She asked you about the gray cup, the Yeti cup, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see a Yeti cup.
Because it says that he told Sergeant Tidwell that he did drink some alcohol.
Oh.
in the silver cup.
Oh yeah, that was so we went over to the other tailgate, and he said that I told him that I drank alcohol out of a silver cup, but he did this pen test, and I told him that if there was any alcohol in my system, it would be from that, but I didn't think that was alcohol. I thought it was apple juice because that's what it tasted like.
So you drank out of it?
You did
Silver
drink out of a
cup.
silver cup.
Yeah, but it wasn't going around us.
Yours?
No, man,
Whose was it?
I don't know. It was
Who gave it to you to drink
sitting on a table.
at the tailgate?
So you just randomly picked up a cup, a silver cup?
Yeah.
And then asked whose it was?
I asked if I could take a drink, and
Who'd you
I don't remember. It was a big tailgate, so
When you pick up the cup and consume the content in the cup, did you
Mhm.
realize then it was alcohol?
no. I said it tasted like apple juice. That's what I told the officer.
Well, I'm confused. I'm confused, and I just want you to help me clarify, because as I read your statement goes on to tell us that, you didn't, at the tailgate, you didn't see or consume alcohol.
Correct.
But you tell in the affidavit from Sergeant Tidwell, it says you told him that you did drink some of the alcohol out of the silver cup.
That's not what I told him. No.
Didn't like the taste of it.
So I met with the SROs on Tuesday, and there was two of them there, and they said the same thing you said. And at that time, he said, "I never said that I had anything to drink." Unfortunately, they also did not put in their statement. They put in there that the car smelled like alcohol, but they left out they found none. That they had searched all the bottles that were in there. So, so I don't know how much of that is their opinion or actual fact, because at that point it's muddy water to me. Because he said he didn't say it. They also didn't put all the facts in there about what they did not find in his vehicle. Plus, we have the alcohol blood work stating that there was no alcohol in his system. We have hired an attorney for the other part. And, the nurses, I went back to Summit to find out about what 0 to 3 what that represented. And they said that's the only documentation they can have. We could not bring those people with us today. So we can only say what those people have said, which was that there was no alcohol at all in his system. So that's only facts that we have to present today, because we cannot bring the nurses, we cannot bring the doctor, we cannot bring the people to actually back up the physical evidence of what the blood work means.
I'm just looking at a statement from, Lori Scott, one of the other assistant principals, and she said that, according to her statement, that Stephen's car was searched, and that they did not find alcohol, but that one of them commented that it did smell of alcohol in the car. So is that true?
I didn't smell any alcohol in it.
But
No.
did the SRO officer say,
He never told that to me. He told that to my dad after he picked me up.
so he told you?
He said something, and I heard him talk when Bo explained everything to me. He never said that he consumed alcohol. He said he took a drink out of a Yeti and it was nasty. Well, and that was that. I didn't know about what it was. I too questioned that. Probably a bad judgment call on that. But and alcohol is volatile. If beer gets spilled in your car, it's going to be there. If liquor gets spilled in your car, it's pretty volatile. You're going to smell it pretty. It's not going to be like I think I smelled alcohol. If it was on somebody's breath or whatever, he would have smelt it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, I know the boy. I can't say what happened. I wasn't there, but it's, I know the boy, and he's a good kid. And I know he,
Well, the facts are they found no alcohol. The facts are he had no alcohol in his blood. So we don't know what the car smelled like because we weren't there with them. They asked a 16-year-old boy if they could search his car. He didn't know if he could say yes or no. I'm glad they did because they found no alcohol. So the fact that he's being accused of alcohol with no alcohol in his system and no alcohol on him anywhere or in his car, to me states that there was no alcohol. The rest is what an SRO said he smelled. I don't know because we weren't there when they searched his car. That would have been a different scenario. And I believe that her statement did not say she smelled alcohol, right? It just said that that's what the SRO said
Somebody
when I read
said.
the statement. So she also did not state that she smelled it.
Who rode to the game with you?
Mason.
Mason.
Yes, ma'am.
Just you and Mason?
Mhm.
Okay. So he's the only person you picked up,
Oh, I picked up someone named Colby too
Colby?
on the way.
Okay.
He doesn't go to our school though.
Was he ever signed it with you?
Yes, ma'am. He wasn't with us though. He was somewhere else. I just picked him up.
Which school does Kobe go to?
I don't know. He's just a friend that I have on Snapchat. He used to go to Mount Juliet, but I think he does online now.
So did you see anybody else drink from the silver cup?
No, no.
Was there only one particular cup there, or were there other drinks on that same table?
I don't remember.
So going back to the silver cup, just trying to clarify, kind of get a picture of what it was. So y'all are tailgating,
Mhm.
okay? On the Mount Juliet side, I'm assuming, or because you said you went to another tailgate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on the Mount Juliet side,
So what happened was me and Mason got to the game,
okay,
and all of the people that have to come here today,
right?
we were all standing in a circle, and then we all went our different ways, and we all went. There was the other big tailgate.
Okay,
So us five literally stood there for like maybe 5 minutes
okay.
and talked, and then went over to the other tailgate.
The other tailgate, where's the other?
It was just right. It was right. We were right next to it,
Okay,
and there was probably. I mean, I can't guess how many people were there, but there was a lot of students there,
okay.
and yeah. So there was just a bunch of people there.
So, okay, and the silver cup was on the table,
hmm
and were there other silver cups?
No.
Was there other food on the table?
I mean, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Was there other drinks?
I don't remember what was around it.
Okay. So I'm just trying to picture just a lone silver cup on a table.
And
Well,
you
there-
walk up,
well, there was
you
stuff-
take it to drink.
There was-
Well, you don't know what it is.
Well, there was stuff around it, but I mean, there was like water bottles and everything, but it wasn't like. I mean, I can't remember what was on the table with it
Okay.
because I didn't think at the time it was alcohol, and I still don't.
So you don't believe what you drank was alcohol?
No, ma'am. I think it was apple juice.
It just tasted like apple juice.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you elaborate on your thought process when you go to the table and see? What is your thought process? I mean, because I'm telling you, as a parent,
Mhm.
what I see
Right.
is you walking up to a long
Right.
table,
Thank you.
picking
Right.
up a cup. I'm gonna drink this. I
Right.
don't know who this cup belongs to, but I'm gonna turn it back.
So you
Turn
thought
it
your
back,
mother was
and,
crazy
you know,
saying
and I'll
something
walk
like
off.
that.
Right.
Not a clue what's in it.
Hey, look at Yeti.
And
There's
I don't
got to
know
be
what's
something good in
it,
it.
but I know there's a silver cup on the table. Do you see what we're trying to say? I'm
Yes, ma'am.
trying to picture what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Because right now, it looks like there's a silver cup just over here in the corner, and I'm just gonna walk up and take a drink.
Yes, ma'am.
Put it back down.
And not ask whose it was, or if I can have, what is it?
hmm
I mean, that's how, if we're talking about like.
Yes, ma'am. I understand
like
that.
Lots of stuff.
Roof.
Yes. Come on.
See?
Right.
See?
And what if it was a big thing
I
of
said
whiskey?
roofie
What if it
too,
was a
and
big
he said,
whiskey
nah.
or something?
I'm like,
You
I'll
know?
pull it up
I
on the
mean,
news. I mean, it's not. He thinks I'm crazy for saying it.
Are there any more questions at this time?
Can you walk us through your thought process? Like,
I mean, I didn't really have one because I didn't really think it at high school. I mean, I know it's been talked about, but I didn't think like it was everywhere that there was alcohol, so I didn't really think it was that important of a thing to be drinking out of a random cup
He's just a dumb
until they
boy.
said something
He's just
to
a
me about
dumb
it.
dude.
I mean, what,
He
No,
is.
well,
He's just
I
a dumb
mean-
kid, man. I mean, he's like
No.
he lives in a different world. You know what I mean? I mean, as a kid, I mean, he has everything. Right. He doesn't expect bad stuff to go on. I don't know.
what do you say, I mean, in other documents that we've read and other people that we've talked to, someone has said that they saw you with a silver cup and that you specifically handed them a silver cup
Mm-mm.
and that it had alcohol in it.
Mm.
So you're denying that?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that person's
Yes, ma'am.
lying? Okay.
Any more questions? Okay.
I just want to be clear. So what his charge is consumption of alcohol, correct? Is that what we're?
Well, we're here, it's consumption, possession, consumption.
Okay.
But it's under, we're going by what our school officials saw at the game.
Right,
And that was the failed sobriety test.
right.
That's what's led us here. What
Right.
we're doing is
Okay.
completely different than what you're
Okay.
doing with the judicial.
Okay.
So that's why we're here is because of the failed sobriety.
So can I ask a question? Because and this is what I don't understand about this process, is it was automatically assumed that that test was given correctly. It was automatically assumed that he was found automatically guilty. If he'd been drinking, we would not be presenting a blood alcohol test. I think that that's been stated, that, you know, it's a first with the attorneys we talked to, that just like, this has just never happened. You know, so my issue is, until we're able to prove that one way or the other, how is he assumed guilty, which he has been up to this point, because he did get suspended from school, which caused several consequences, you know, of being at the wrong place at the wrong time and making a poor decision of taking a sip out of a cup. But at the end of the day, it's just what an SRO, who we assume knows exactly how to give the test and gave it perfectly, versus physical documentation of, no, there was no alcohol in the system. That's what I'm trying to understand in the process of this.
With the whole thing, what we're dealing with is, we're not dealing with the law, we're dealing with code of conduct.
Right.
That's what we're here
Sure.
for today. We're here to deal with code of conduct.
Sure.
And so when a principal, assistant principal, administrator sees a student fails a sobriety test,
Mhm.
we're under the assumption that
Right,
he's under the influence.
right,
Okay, so
Sure.
that's why we're here today, is
Right.
do this part,
okay.
okay?
Well, one of
So
the reasons he
committee-
could fail
Let
it
that go.
was
Respect that.
nervous, right? They pulled him out in front of how many people at the game? 2,000, something like that, you know? And I'm sure he was scared to death. I'm just trying to just make sure that I understand everything. I didn't mean to
Let me
interrupt you. I
tell this, too.
apologize. Yes, sir.
What's gonna happen is, myself, Ms. Randy, we're gonna take a break, all of us, except these three members, we're gonna go outside.
Okay.
What these three members are gonna do is they're gonna collect everything, sit here, make a decision based off what they've heard, okay? Then they're gonna call me back in, I'm gonna write the decision up, okay? And then at the end of the decision, I'm gonna read off an appeals right that you have to appeal. You can have a right to appeal with the director of schools, Dr. Wright, okay? And I'll go through that whole process with you, no matter what the decision is, I mean, you can appeal it.
Okay.
And so we can go from there, but the findings is what we're worried about, code of conduct,
Sure.
okay? And that's why I want to separate, it's not, the SRO stuff, that's separate, okay? That's outside of school, our administration through the county saw the test, and I understand where you're coming from, you know, but our administration saw the test, so that's why, with it being, a failed test under the influence of alcohol or some sort of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of
Well,
the word. They're saying alcohol, but-
the test is almost not valid.
Well, I can't, I'm not,
You
see,
know,
I'm
about-
not a doctor,
Right.
I'm not a police officer, I'm not a professional when it comes to the test. So all I am is I'm an administrator
Right.
like these, and that's what we're trying to figure out
Let
is
me
the
also
facts.
clarify this by saying, we're contracted with the sheriff's office.
Right, fair enough. I understand that,
Yeah.
And
totally,
they have certain
Yeah.
protocols, like when we,
totally, I
the
understand that.
administrators say, hey, we've heard this,
Right.
then SROs have a certain protocol, and the
Yes.
field sobriety test is part of that protocol.
Well, and I think that this situation, it was actually reported directly to the SRO
Yeah.
officer, so it
So
did
that's
not
out,
come to us.
it's out of our hands, which directly reported to
But
Sure.
if
Mhm.
that's what they cite for, then that's what we have to follow
Okay.
through on until there's
Well-
until there's an appeal or something.
Okay.
I just hope you guys take a look at him. He's got a spotless record. He's a good student, and I mean, this hurts him. I hate to say it hurt the golf team because it's really not that important, but I mean, it's just one thing. I mean, his Hope Scholarship and I mean, all these other.
That if he did not play in district, he was eligible to play in district. So he is still eligible if they would have made that. So
Right.
that did not,
Mhm.
it was one match. Now, Allison and gravity, one match, so
Right,
nothing taking away of that.
right.
But
But
we need to
yeah,
make sure of that.
and and I'm not
You
worried
saw
about the
him
golf.
after the game, though, right? Did you tell them that you saw him when he came back?
I did
after the
not-
blood
I did not
test?
see
That was
him
Miss
when he
Sharp.
came back.
Oh, Miss Sharp. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I
Miss
thought it was
Sharp,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
so
All
this
right,
time,
thank you.
Let's take a break. Let them decide.
Thank you, ladies.
Myself, Ms.
Thank
Randy,
you.
we have no bearing on the outcome, so we're gonna take that break real quick, and then we'll go back. Okay?
Thank you, ladies.
And I didn't get to it.
Oh, Steve Clark. Sorry.
I saw at least look. It's not on here. We're sorry you're here. We're sorry you're here.
It's really good. And I think we've got 4 good kids. We've got 4 good kids. We've got good parents.
Throwing something in front of his house. That's pretty positive of the world got anyway.
Correct.
You know what I mean? For somebody to do, like, yeah, man, I got you.
It was.
That's pretty much it.
That's just disgusting, you know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like.
Right, thank you. Oh, you didn't even go that route.
You said goofy though, because that's what I told him.
I got a 19-year-old daughter.
I said, his aunt got drugged one
Hey, and what I said is that no matter what the outcome is, you always have that. Okay, so I want you guys to know that, and I tell everybody that, you know, and I understand, it's hard when the committee's trying to make a decision on something, there's so many things going into it, and I understand, and I wouldn't expect anything different for you to come in and y'all stick up. Yes, I'll be right there, okay, and, you know, he is a good kid, just, you know, and I understand that, but I want y'all to understand that there is, no matter what the outcome is, you have that right to appeal. So, and so you know that, so don't, I know you might be disappointed if something happens other than what, but just make sure you understand that you do have that right, okay?
Sometimes you got to win the DD, right?
Hey,
The DD goes down, what are we gonna do now?
I don't know, I say out of that department.
That's right.
Well, that's what I tell my 19-year-old, I'm like, she says that, because she's like, well, I'm the driver, I'm like, but you're still under 21.
Yeah.
So are the ones in your car, so it doesn't matter how noble you're trying to be, you're still in the presence of.
Right.
I said, and if.
When you're in control of them, you're the
And if
one.
somebody has that in your car, or somebody gets out of your car and you've been transporting them, and they're under the influence and they're under the age, you're just as guilty. It's not okay. You know, you can, I understand you want to take care of everybody. That's what she does. She's one that wants to take care of everybody. But you can't, there comes a point in time you have to watch out for yourself too. You can't be stupid, you know. So, it's just under 21's under 21, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Make a difference, so.
That's exactly right.
We'll see. I am
You
glad.
have one more?
I do, well, I've got.
Yeah. It's an all day.
Just hanging out,
It's
from
all day,
lunch.
yeah. It's an all day deal.
It's all right. It's part of the deal, so I'm glad that they have this process, because in the state where I'm kind of in, there was no process. It was
Really?
all on the principal, and so we had to decide, yes, you're going, no, you didn't, and it makes it really hard when it's one person trying to weigh all of the weight of it, and try, at least it gets other people to look at all of it, because you get so deep into a lot of this,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't see all the pieces parts, you know, so it does make it a little better for us when we just present what we've got and let a neutral party decide, so, and it takes, like, if I had never had something before, and I had bad
Yeah, if that.
juju
yeah.
about you, then it gives neutral parties that can make it. So, that's good.
She won't know. Well, from the school, I had to go out there.
And then she'll learn to be
So, yeah, the questions. wanted to reach out to his golf coach, but, you know, he didn't, I talked to his golf, I talked to him too, and he just said, I don't know what the protocol is, but I want to know what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
So, I was like, well, I don't know what the protocol is, but as soon as you can, I'll come talk to you, so.
You come back in, please.
Alright, sorry for keeping you waiting. Alright, Stephen, the Student Disciplinary Hearing Authority of Wilson County Board of Education, after having reviewed the evidence presented at today's student disciplinary hearing, on September 12, 2018, the Disciplinary Hearing Authority finds and orders as follows. Okay, it's placement at MAP Academy for 10,200 points. Okay, and that's equivalent. MAP is set up on a point system. Okay, 100 points a day, and so that's equivalent to 102 days, which would take you to spring break. Okay, I want to read this statement off to you. Okay, and I'll answer any questions after that you have. This is a statement of appeals rights. Okay, and this is what we talked about earlier. You will also have this decision in writing. You will receive it in writing, and acknowledgement of agreement for any conditions for a suspended order of expulsion or transfer. You have the right to appeal this decision to the Board of Education in accordance with the Board Policy 6.317 within 5 calendar days from the date of this hearing. This policy also explains the appeal process and your appeal rights. Okay. Once again, on the sheet you're getting, you'll see this at the bottom. I'll read this off to you. You have 5 days from today's date to request an appeal before the Director of Wilson County Schools, Dr. Donna Wright. In the event you disagree with the decision of the Student Disciplinary Hearing Authority or would like a modification of the decision, you must have your request into the Director of Schools office, 415 Harding Drive, Lebanon, Tennessee, within the next 5 school days. If you wish to appeal, you may receive a form which will expedite this process, and I'll hand this to you at the end of this after we leave, or after we exit. I'll hand you some forms and also hand you this decision paper. Okay. Do you have any questions or requiring clarification on the appeal process?
Yeah, I got a question. Do you think this really helps students?
This is, I'm asking about the appeal process.
So it's on there, what we need
That's
to
my whole
do?
process.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions about the appeal process?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll meet y'all outside, and I'll have some paperwork for you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So anyone go to school in Kentucky? Like, what do you do now? That's all such bullshit. Whole sheriff's department, you know.
What I've read off to you. Okay.